admit I'm going in a little bit starstruck right now. I'm joined by Fastflogger. Hello, hello.
My gosh. Wow. Way undeserved. Hello. You can call me Fastflogger or Clark. It's all good too. I'm just so used to using it. Fastflogger came from a Twitter handle years and years ago. So I started using that for all my other accounts to be across the board. And then it just got out of hand. But I'm used to people in the chat calling me like Fast or FF or Fastflogger. So Clark, it's all good.
Fast. Ooh, fast. Give us the little rundown of who you are and how long you've been on the platform, how often you broadcast, and the kinds of things you like to do.
The username is Fastflogger. I think I signed up in January 2019. I think Johnny actually just sent me a message a few days ago that my CAM anniversary was March 6th. And I was like, whoa, wow, oh my God. Started to really get into it last December, and then started camming with Sunny, who's now in a relationship with. Had to drop once I got Sunny on CAM4, started doing that more and more often. Sometimes I'll have streaks where I'm online like every day for a week. Sometimes I'll be off for a week or two. I was trying to cam every day in March and then just lost it yesterday. It's all sporadic. It's when I'm in the right mindset, when I have time. Sometimes I get really into like have to film and have to post clips. Sometimes it's all live, so I don't have to deal with storage and editing and iMovie and all that. So there's no real schedule. Tends towards evenings, but it's not like, every day at 6 or every day at 7. It can be batshit. I also don't ever have end times. Sometimes you're on a great streak and you've got great people in the room and you're doing a ton of shows and going nuts and you realize, it's 4 o'clock in the morning. I am so completely in trouble. Some shows are just hanging out. I've done a fair number working on the house. I have guy-girl shows with Sunny. I have guy-guy shows with Steven. I have all my solo things. Sometimes working out at home, cooking, working on projects around the house. Sometimes I do just what I call office hours, where I'm just kind of hanging out in front of the computer. I might have a movie running, or I might be like editing something, but people can come in, and that's one where it's easier to keep up with the chats. It's easier to do shows and answer questions, and I'm not like bouncing around the house dragging the laptop with me. I've got this dungeon that's all put together. I actually built myself on cam, did the sponge painting, did the framing, built the display cases around the vlogs and all that. And I never came from down here.
Wow.
Sometimes
God, that's
private shows by request, but yeah, usually it's in the kitchen, at the desk, in the bathroom, moving around the living room. Yeah.
cool. Hey, I mean, people love that stuff, and obviously you've found success with it. Do you believe that luck is a force in this business for creators?
I would say absolutely yes. So for my start, I never decided like, hey, I want to get into porn or live camming or whatever. My entire thing has been luck. I got into the public BDSM fetish scene because a roommate in college dragged me along to some learning and education groups, and then they brought me into parties. Someone from one of the parties brought me to a photo shoot for a company that hired them and wanted people for showing off their products. The owner of that company, Spank Academy, offered me a job doing product design. He brought me to an Exxotica because they were trying to sell stuff and he needed someone who was kinky to explain how to use everything. I met people who cammed on different platforms. I remember when CAM4 had the ball pit and sponsored the hotties and running around Exxotica, and got to like know some of them. One who was one of those was just texting me like 2-3 days ago because he wanted to get into more BDSM stuff and was asking me about where to get flogs and training and how to use them. It's all a funny world. And after a while, I decided like, hey, if I'm going to be here working on the house and renovating it, I could do it offline and not make anything, or I could do it online and probably still won't make anything, but it could be tokens, could be a few dimes here and there.
Yeah.
And it's grown into this whole other thing that never imagined, never planned. It's all been luck. It's all been happening to be in the right spot at the right time, and just this complete batshit wild spider web of good fortune. There is kind of the flip side of that coin where like a lot of it's just happening in the right spot in the right time. I do think that the more time you spend online, the better your luck gets, or that, the more you practice, the more effort you put in, the better your luck gets. I've had amazing luck with some fantastic viewers stumbling into my room. Shout out to 72. But that wouldn't have happened if I wasn't putting the time online. You know, if you do half an hour once a month, your luck's going to be a lot thinner.
Do you believe in bad luck? Are you superstitious in any way?
I wouldn't say I'm superstitious. There can definitely be an element of bad luck. Funny that the first example that comes up as bad luck was absolutely user error. I've had a few where I was just about to start a private show with someone and I go to reposition the laptop, and if I'm running on Ethernet, it's plugged into a USB-C adapter, which does not lock in like an Ethernet cord, and just ripped out my own connection and dropped the show right as it was about to start. So, oh yeah, bad luck, but that was absolutely on me too. I think there could be a lot of bad luck that we don't see. You know, you might log off minutes before an old regular comes back into your room for the first time, or minutes before someone would have seen you. There are all the invisible things. And sometimes, you know, like you said about having streaks where, hey, shows aren't going well or aren't keeping up, it can get in your head. It can be very difficult to say, okay, you know, yesterday wasn't great, you know, had a donut across the board, you know, line of zeros, but we're going to shake it off, come back to it today. It can be a lot. And especially as the economy and the world in general is all over the place, it can be very difficult not to take that as a referendum on yourself and say, hey, you know, people's disposable income is changing. People are worried about other events. There are all these things going on around, and it's not just all like criticism of you as a broadcaster.
What's the trick to keeping good luck alive, to keeping that good luck shining on you?
Like we were talking about earlier, I think the trick for luck is persistence.
Yeah.
I think as broadcasters, it's really easy to get stuck in your head. Like, okay, what is my camera quality? What is my backdrop? What is my, you know, type of show? Like all these other things that you really get into the details as a broadcaster. But sometimes it's good to sit back and say, like, okay, to the viewer, is that kind of thing going to make a difference? Like if I'm editing transitions on the clips that I have up in my shop, check out my shop, I've got like 90 clips. You know, is that going to be distracting to the viewer, or does it not really matter to them and they're more focused on like the framing or the bigger picture? You know, what are those things we focus on? So I think the consistency is the basis of luck. And scratch off card, you know, what are the chances you're going to win the lotto or fill out numbers? You buy a ton of cards. You get out there. If you stream every day, you put in the time, if you're consistent, the more you put yourself out there, the more that chance, whatever fraction it is, that, you know, the amazing viewer is going to come into a room and change your life. More times you take that chance, better your odds are. Best way to find me is probably Google me, Google Fastflogger across the board. You should be able to find the Twitter and Instagram there, same username, be able to find my CAM4 page when I'm not currently up in broadcasting. As social media platforms become more or less friendly to everyone in the greater like sex work sphere, as more come up and die out, I'd say probably come back to Google, Fastflogger. I'll always pop up somewhere.
Awesome. Thank you for today. This was awesome.
My pleasure.